Good morning and welcome back to another episode on the Coin Kings channel. I'm your host, Down the Crypto TA. I am still very much under the weather right now, so forgive the voice. And I still wanted to at least come in and do a stream recap on yesterday, what I'm kind of watching for right now. Um, so short position still in play right now. I did put out a tweet yesterday prior to us getting the break below this neckline right here. I know we had two setups on the chart yesterday. One was just below this liquidity here, and the other one was right here, around about this white line right here. Because of the breakdown uh, and not really knowing where the breakdown was going to happen at, but being able to see that it did push through the long setup from here, I really didn't have a good way of like kind of, trying to feed that setup to you. I am in the long position right now. I know we talked about price holding the 382 to the 50% retracement. So at least that part right there did play out. And I was under the impression also that this could possibly be like a five-wave move to the downside when this happened. And it probably still was, but I was counting it one, two, three. I was thinking that the 1.618 was going to be like a wave three target here, and then we were about to put in a wave four and continue to move down. And that would have at least led into the second setup that would have done like the CME gap fill, something like that. But that didn't happen. We just happened to hold in here. I don't know that I wouldn't count this as too long in time now. Even though it didn't come back up here to hit the section right here. There, there's still the chance that it's five waves on the 1 hour, 4 hour, 4 hours, what I was using to kind of figure everything out. And if that's the case, I do have a Elliott wave, five wave target that I'm going to share here in a sec. Just trying to see what's going to happen in here. I know that we did flip fully bearish on the 1 hour. I mean, on this 15-minute time frame, somewhere around about in here. But this was the tweet that I did. And like I said, yeah, I had to keep moving that trend line, and so I really couldn't tell you exactly where things were going to happen. This was early on in the move, and you can see how, when we go back to the chart, you'll see how much we consolidated a bit through here before actually getting the breakdown. But obviously, this breakdown pushed through this setup right here. I didn't move anything at the time when I did the post because I really don't know what's going to happen. So I just left it like it is. But if it played out, then, and we didn't even hit the full target of that measure move, and it could have just been how I drew it out or something like that too. But that was supposed to be the idea right there behind the play. And if we're not about to roll over here on this chart right here, then we could still be finishing out a five-wave move up. And I'm counting it off of this right here. I don't know what to do with this over here. I really don't know if that's something at all. I just tend to go with what I can see. If I can see it and it makes sense, then I'll look for that to play out, as I'm not an Elliotician, but just basically what I can see. And so here is going to be the 0.618 fib extension target for a fifth wave here, or even the one-to-one, and that's how I marked out the two short positions that could possibly be had in here. I know yesterday I had this short position up here somewhere. Yeah, I've changed that too. And also right here, there I do have a weekly pivot level there, and it's around 71,280. So I'm really liking this right here. If price gets up here, because right now, uh, I mean, 4 hour held that low that I was looking at yesterday on the oscillator, uh, but it's anybody's guess right now. So This is just, my plan to trade. So nothing's set in stone. It's just my plan to trade. And you can follow along with that plan if you like to. But that's what I'm going to look for. If we continue to get the push up, I'm looking for the move here into the 0.618, which is simply a fib extension drawn from this low. Actually, I'll just do it again. Fib extension here, drawn from this low to this high here and down to this low. And then you just want to make sure you have on your target. So I got the 0.618, which is what I'll be looking for. And I just added the pocket in there, and then the 1-to-1 right there. And let me just delete that one. So that's the game plan. I'm gonna leave that box there. I don't know if it's something or not. I know the other thing that I talked about yesterday was possibly, and these are just probabilities. I don't know. I have to have a plan. So if this is actually still a head and shoulder formation, that could play out. And this is just simply a back test into that neckline again. Then we would expect for this to roll over, right? It could tap it as many times as it wants to, as long as it's not up above this shoulder. If it comes back up above here, then it invalidates the pattern formation, simply put. So price would have to take this shoulder out, and then that's the only way that the head and shoulders is invalidated. So it's still a valid setup until proven otherwise. I'm not depending on this head and shoulder situation over here. I have been relying on this upward trend line for my short position, which is the one that I'm currently in. So that has been this has been a part of my analysis. This trend line here, took the short the last time when we tapped into here, and took the short again with that tap there from yesterday. Volume is still relatively, relatively low. The sell volume did pick up here. But let me just see. This looks a hot mess. It really does. Yeah, and it was genuine. I just had to see if it was genuine selling volume. So that it's a lot of lines about to pop up, okay? Before that, where did I put them at? That's a lot of lines. But this is the pivot that I notated on that 4-hour time frame. It's this one right here. We have been able to break above it, so I'm not saying that there's any heavy weight behind it, but it is here. And then, of course, you saw the one up above that here at the 76, which is around about where we stopped out the last time right here. So 76 to 39.90. Just depends on how things go today. And see, we are getting that rejection. Not pushing it back up above here. So, I mean, I don't know. Still could have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an A, B, C. Still could have been that, and then whatever we're doing now. I did already secure a little bit of, I secured my fees at least off of the loan entry, just right in here. And I rebalanced that long setup just to kind of pick this all up, but I mean, it might not be any good. It may not be any good. And let me see something. Yeah, it was still kind of negative on our momentum. That's what I was looking at down there. Still kind of negative on it. But you can see right here. This was when we broke the trend line. Was right through here as soon as we drop below the zero in here. So we're trying to come back up that zero right now. If we do that, because I mean we were losing steam through here yesterday, but they kept squeezing price higher and higher, which is really annoying. But we were losing steam in there. I know on the 1 hour it looked fine to me on the oh yeah, bear divs. I'm sorry. I know we got some bearish divergence right now too. You can see the high over here. That's here, and then the bear. We're up. We're up above that. We at least invalidated any sort of bearish divergence through here, but you could count that as some bearishness. These two highs right here. Um, And of course, everything in here had changed yesterday too, because I would have been able to rely on the mean reversion back here into this green trend line right here. But I could tell as everything started to shift in here that with this line here, we would be below this line. We'll be below there. Um, so I mean the target and everything suggested anyway that was not gonna hold up. But we still had a chance. Still had a chance in here. Um, I'm missing something. Okay. It doesn't matter. Let's see if we can continue to hold the zone through here. It still looks pretty decent. Um, Again, it still looks pretty decent in here. Yeah, bulls still have control of the situation in here. Um, this trend line right here, that was something that we were watching through here, saying that as long as we held up above that, it would be okay. Um, but we did flip below a signal line in here as well for the 4 hour time frame. So maybe, it's still possible that we get this. You usually come up on between a 4 and 5 with a bear div. So I would expect to see some sort of a bear div and then we get a drop down. That's my thought process right now. Because this still looks decent through here. So just one more swing up or a lower high on the oscillator, a higher high on price action, and then a drop down. That's going to be my that's what I'm looking forward to happen. If it doesn't, we come in and fill in that CME gap. That'll automatically invalidate a 5 wave setup automatically because we'll be back in territory of one. So, um, speaking on that, let me just go back and take a look at that. Okay, Little back test. It's a good little back test. Yeah. Hmm. I still don't see the actual strength coming in here, but um, I think we're a little high on a 15-minute time frame, but I mean that none of that mattered in here over the weekend. I think we're a little high for the bear div. We might have even tapped into like 70 or something like that, because that's a 72.96 right there. So we're pretty high for a bearish divergence in here. And to think that this would hold, in my opinion, I mean, I would look for a retracement back down. Maybe we just tap back down here at the low or something like that. Let's check out that CME gap. Yeah, this is about what the original setup looked like right here. This is what, yeah, that was what the original setup was looking like before, taking into account that breakdown for that wedge. Call it a wedge, you call it the head and shoulders up there, before that breakdown happened. Um, so we're still pretty far off from this gap right here. Seems that we gapped down yesterday. It must have been an exhaustion gap up here. Mhm. I know liquidity heat map is showing some decent liquidity was sitting right in there too. All right, go back up. Yeah, it's possible we could. Um, excuse me. It's possible we could tap back down into here. It doesn't look like it would do more damage than that, but it's possible. Oh gosh, this market has been it's been fun. It's been fun to say the least. this is exactly where that gap is at, right through here. And we have some good liquidity through here, or yeah, we have some good liquidity through that gap right there. Um, if I'm looking at it on the heat map, so if you're looking at it here on the heat map, it's actually below it. It's just below there, but that's that liquidity sitting right here, just round about where that gap is at right there. So we're front running that right now. And then, of course, the liquidity above these highs right here, we have the equal highs at there. Um, that's just over the last 24 hours, over the last few days in here. So we should have some decent liquidity. I was expecting to see a little bit more decent liquidity to the downside. It's probably not the right look back for it. We got a lot of, I don't know if anybody tuned in for the speech last night from our president. If you're an American, um, American citizen, DJT, it was a harsh watch. It really was. It was very harsh. The best way for me to describe it is to use Will Smith as an example of, you know, walking on stage and slapping Chris Rock and going back to sit down and act like everything is normal and get up and give this heartfelt speech. It was one of those, like, it's disgusting. But I don't know what sort of impact any of that information is going to have on markets, and it should be the least of our concerns, to be honest. At this point, I don't know. Let me see what we got going on here. Um, USDT dominance back at support level. Of course, like I said, the past few days, past several days, we've been at resistance, at support, and just being bogging around through here instead of, barely moving, like just staying within this block, just within this space right here. That's all we've been doing. So that's basically all we've been getting out of Bitcoin as well. I still stand on this being a bearish pattern here, ascending Broughton top formation that at some point would break down, blah 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 blah, or else we're gonna pump up here, either put in a double top or go into price discovery. But I I expect for this to break down. It's just time. It's just timing when that could happen. Um, VIX, pretty much the same thing over here with VIX. You come up, hit resistance, you come down, you find support, and then sometimes VIX will use this center block right here as resistance. So I mean, yeah, just range bound. Everything is just range bound right now. Not gonna get into that. S&P SPY has been stuck here at this resistance area right here around bandwidth 1. It still remains, yeah, nothing has changed there. Thinking that if it could get up, maybe it rejects from this trend line here. Yeah, this line here again, or pushes into VWAP right here. So, but right now it has remained stagnant and stuck right here. And the last time we thought maybe it could have been putting in like an inverse head and shoulder, but yeah, it's just been stuck. Just been stuck. Take a look at oil. This looks good. This doesn't look like something that's about to fall off the bandwagon at all. It could be trying to blow off, I mean, some steam through here, but I mean, this looks pretty good. Yeah, this doesn't look like it's. Yeah, this doesn't look like it's preparing to. I mean, you had that period of time where it did lose a bunch of steam through here, of course, and then boop, back up there. Yeah, this doesn't look like it's cooling off anytime soon. It suggests it suggests that it's extended. It's quite extended in here. Quite extended through here, but you can see how long that period can last as long as this remains elevated. That's still elevated. So looks good. Doesn't mean it has to go higher. It could just go sideways in here. Um, for a while longer before making a decision. They're trying to do something in here with this little note that's through here. But this still looks freaking amazing. It kind of toppy like Bitcoin yesterday. You see that though? I think that looks just like Bitcoin. It's just like Bitty up here. So maybe take a look back here at Bitcoin. Don't it look just like Bitcoin? It look just like Bitcoin right here. Even these top wicks right here. Like all of that looks exactly like Bitcoin. The wicks exactly. Let me click back on that chart again. Everything from the lower wick sitting right here to the higher wick right there, and then the one that's sitting right, yeah, it looks exactly like Bitcoin. Look yesterday. It's crazy. That's crazy. Good morning. Let me see if I can see. Jon Snow, good morning. Put Lambo and money in your thumbnail. You already failed as a YouTuber and influencer. Thank you for the beautiful compliment, Jon Snow. Thank you. You're like the second person to come in and talk about the Lambo and the money. You not see the ramen noodles? You not see that? You don't see the ramen noodles? What else is in that thumbnail? Let me see. Since you were kind enough to bring it up, John. You're not very good with icons, apparently. So it's a lot happening in that. You got Bitcoin, you got the Lambo, you do have capital in the background. You have a green ascending bullish trend line for markets up. You have one for a failing market. You have ramen noodles in there. There's also a crown. Yeah. But I'm glad it's eye catching. Thank you. All right, we're gonna see if we don't hold. I don't see us doing more damage than coming back down here towards the low here. But we'll see how that goes. I'm just not feeling well enough this morning. I can tell you that much, especially not for, people. I just want to be a good person. That's it. I just want to be a good person. It takes the same energy to show up and be an asshole as it takes to show up and just be a good human being. It takes the same energy. Let's see what we got here. Again, I don't think that we would do more damage than that, as far as I can tell right now, just looking at this chart. Oh, wrong thing. See, I know. Pull this right here. Let's see. Golden pocket. I get stopped out this time. I'm just gonna let it go. Let's see. It's a pretty bad wick on the 4 hour time frame, but I'm sitting here looking at the 15 minute, and I don't see anything more damaging than where we are. If it does become more damaging, I guess I could start back. I guess I could look back at this situation right here, which is supposed to be this right here. You can look back at that. Um, Now, all three of these candles are pretty healthy, and volume looks compelling. Hmm. I will consider the entry from down in here if that were to happen. If it doesn't hold through here, like I'm saying, I will leave it alone in this area, and I will consider it in here if it looks right. If it does break through here and come down, um, that will put us below our previous day low, which is, not what we typically like to see. And we swept that low right here, and that was fine, but we don't really want to see us below that. Trading wise, closing candles below it. I know at the end of the day, it's a long day today. We could reclaim back above it, and it could still just look like a wick on the higher time frame, but we want to be breaking above previous day highs and not breaking below previous day lows. And this is just a 382 and 50% retracement. So basically just looking at the 50% retracement, um, which is ideal for wave four, which is why we were eyeballing that section there yesterday. Um, And the reason why I'm looking at that is basically because of the 4 hour, as we were looking at it yesterday. Um, I'm looking at it per this right here. We still haven't come back to the mean or actually tap this trend line, which, we would want to be holding above that. And that's basically just going to be, it's going to be here where that green R mean is. That's the RSI mean right there on a 14 period look back. And then this is the 28 right here. So that's why I'm looking at it. Um, so you can see we're up away from it, up away from it. So that could still work. Maintain here and then roll back up. But this wick looks terrible. Wick does look terrible. But that's the level we're watching on over here on the 15-minute. And that candle engulfing. Uh, it's close though. This isn't going to be one of those DGN entries for me today. Just only if it makes sense. If it comes down and it makes sense. Right now, still holding the 50% zone, slightly below it, slightly. Let me see if I got stopped out. Not yet. Not yet. But you will see I got pushed back into the negative. I already showed you this morning where I took profit on this position. The rest of it, I left my stop loss here. That's why I said I won't try it again in here. I'll just get stopped out. I'll still get stopped out in profit because I did already secure some profits off of the situation. But stop loss is just right here. So that's what below the 50. I wouldn't expect a move back up above this though. This is if we're below here again, that would invalidate all of this anyway because we come back into this territory if we're below here. So how long is rat in here from this trend line up? Called that 4 hour right yesterday though. Boy, dang. But like I said, still holding, still holding. Still holding, still holding, still in the trade, still in the trade for now. Still in the trade. I don't need this right here. Let me get rid of that. There she blows. There she blows. So I got stopped out there. And it rolled right over from there too. I guess we'll look for that CME gap to get filled. Or we hold hold right in here. CME is where, right in here or down here? Might be right in here. Still can't come down here. We're here. CME running behind. And we came relatively close to hitting our you'll know we on it too on the 4 hour when it hits flips to 50. On Bitcoin. Slowly hanging on right here. If we are going to get another bull div, obviously it's not going to come from this low right here or that low or even this low right here. It'll have to be something like this right here. So a higher low on the RSI with the lower low on price action if we are going to get another bull div in here. Um, we are back negative on the daily. Um, RSI is still fine, but we are still back. We are back negative. I will say this. Looking at the daily, because it's not synchronized on the daily time frame, the signal lines through here are not synchronized, so they're not in the proper order, which means the first thing that the daily time frame would hit would be a signal line that would give a huge candle drop. The same way it pushed us up, we would see a huge candle drop on the daily if it were to turn down into that signal. Um, which is the same one I'm looking for the 4 hour to hold. Um, which is an accelerated signal. So we just tapped into the 50% retracement level there on the 4 hour time frame. So we just tapped into it right there when we hit it. It means we're going to get to a point where I'm going to have to invalidate this and do away with it. Mm, 23. I'm going to take a small. Never mind. I was going to say I was going to take a small chance right here. I said I wasn't going to do any degenning today. We are below previous day low. Mm. Let me just give it a second while it's moving real slow right here. It's pretty aggressive. Several red candles to the downside. And we are in the area where we'll be looking for it to hold support right in here, right through here. Um, I'm just gonna let it prove itself first, and then I'll enter. So sit on my hands for a sec here. We're holding the bull deal for now as well. It hasn't confirmed yet, but because I'm gonna sit here for a second, and even if I gotta, I'm gonna have to wait. That might take a small. Trying to think. I'm gonna give it a shot. This isn't something that I would be willing to add to at all. It's not, because anything can happen right here. Uh, Ideally, I want to see it hold in here, but I would cut it before I try to DCA it, and then I would have to re-enter. I did go ahead and decide to just go ahead and give it a shot because this is the last place it has to hold. It doesn't hold here, then it's going down. So as I know that CME gap could always still get filled. Um, Yeah, it can always still get filled. Um, we're still moving kind of really, really slow in here. It's never a good thing. Come on, Bitcoin, social, some sort of strength, something. I think I'm gonna watch this 1 hour and over that 15 minute right now. I feel like the 15 is gonna give me too much noise right now. I mean, if you are short from up here, maybe today could be a good day. maybe, maybe we just see this thing roll all the way down. In that case, I would get stopped out of the long that I took from here. So I long this drop right here. And we got the double pop bottom down through here. And we have a ton more liquidity down through here. Maybe that could take us into our theory from yesterday, talking about that weekly time frame um, for Bitcoin. So the theory from the weekly time frame is that we don't have. Right, it's a nice little push. Let's see if we can't do better. We don't have a counter trend on the weekly time frame. Does which um, doesn't mean we don't go lower. It just could mean that we could be putting in like an ending formation, and like we did in 2023 with the fallen wedge. So some sort of a triangular formation could be taking place, wedge, triangle, something on the weekly. Good morning, Y Crypto YT. Good morning to you. I am still under the weather today. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you for being here. I got stopped out of the loan that I was in, but I took a chance here. I might get stopped out again. I know that we're trying to hold the support through here. So I gave it another shot just to see. We could still fill in that gap in here. But we lost a 50% retracement here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that too because we lost that. So we could also be looking at filling in that CME gap in here as well. This is the final area, final line in the sand right here. Actually, where we were at, really, just around the 50, the mean on the RSI for the 4-hour time frame, which you can see that we have clearly come back above because we're at 52 right now. But it was basically right here. Right here, it's like the line in the sand if we're going to maintain the momentum through here anyway. So the ascending momentum that we have through here, which held us up there and there, if you want it to hold us up here, then we need to hold right here. Um, it could still always wick and recover. It could do that, and you would never notice it by looking at the RSI. But yeah. And if we hold here without coming into this one, then we may still have a valid 5-wave move to the upside. So let's say we turn around from here, come back up. So I'd be watching for the golden pocket and the 1-to-1 fib extension right there. Got a weekly pivot level in here as well with this golden pocket retracement fib extension here. But no, this isn't, I mean, like I was saying through here, we could put in, because we were really high over here, we're going to put in a bear div on the move up to look for that short. Simply because, number one, we were very, very high. We've already crossed below our signal line. We pushed back up. I wouldn't expect for us to do anything like we did over here. So um, just, you get divergence, bearish divergence in an uptrend between your 4 and 5 wave if it doesn't get invalidated. If it doesn't get invalidated, but don't know. 1 hour still looks decent. Thank you. I hope I get better soon too. It's raining in Florida. I love Florida, except the Gators. Except the Gators. It would be my home. Yeah, and we are below our previous day low, which you never want to go in that direction. You always want to get above previous day highs, but we are below our previous day low. So if we're looking at our daily time frame, you can see that that looks terrible. And I said that yesterday too. I said that 4 hour would make that daily time frame, that signal crossing, that signal getting that push down in the 4 hour would make this daily time frame look terrible with that wick there. But we did the same thing over here. And the only other thing that I was mentioning in here on this daily time frame is that signal line that it would be the first thing we would cross. It's an accelerated one. It would leave a candle just like this if that happened. Like we would see a big candle down, taking out this low right here. So, which would be my entry if that were to happen. So I got it right here. I said that it was sitting at the mean. So it's sitting right in here. Just slightly below here is where that signal is sitting at. And if we cross that first, it's gonna be a bad look. Uh well, it already looks bad, but it's not gonna be nice. It's right here. So it's sitting right there. And so it's out of order. It should be ordered like this, red and then orange. But you can see that orange is first, which means if we flip down below this, then we just see a sale, like a quick sale. Like, see how those candles are nice and juicy? You get a juicy candle like that. But then it would catch some support and try again. Just looking at it. Just looking at it. I don't like it. So I still have us at a soft reading. The only thing that was strong was our fast signal that, guided us up here, and choppy as far as the accelerated signal goes. Choppy. And of course, our divergence will almost right through here. Whatever whatever this is. Yeah, whatever that is, if it's just a back test of this neckline again, and because I don't really like a head and shoulders in the center of price action. Not yeah, inverse at a low grade. This I don't really like something like that. Um, it's not textbook for me, but I guess it could still be valid until we take out this. It can be a continuation pattern also, so unless we take out this top right here, which I don't know if that's going to happen. Head is pounding. Today, Tuesday, we don't have any. No, we don't have anything today that's impactful other than what was said from the Trump speech last night. That would be it. Already took a look at oil, which was respecting the little pattern in here, which looks exactly like Bitcoin again. Looks exactly like Bitcoin did. Looks exactly like Bitcoin last last night or yesterday before we got the little push down, but it's holding through here for now. It looked good down below, so whatever drops would just be a buying opportunity from what I could tell. That still looked decent. See, Algo had got a little bit more of a sell pullback, so it never I know on the weekly, I was saying, like, you want to take some profit. Yesterday, I did say go ahead and take some now, but yeah, you want to take some profit as you push back into this mean, push back into the mean because, it's a great place for rejection. Um, Good volume down there, though. So I would think that it would continue. It had great volume there, great volume through there, had decent volume through here, too. So I would expect for it to continue and assume that this is just a little bit of a correction here. There was also, let me turn this off. The situation here with Polkadot, like I said, I would not buy it until it got up above here. So for me, it's a no unless it gets up here. Even though I can see a lot of things in this chart that implies that it could get popped to the upside. We're doing got a little squeeze in, 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 but it can go on for a while before it actually does that move. Right now, it would have to get above here for me before I do that. And the volume isn't here either. You had the volume in here, you had the volume over here as well, and also had the volume back over here. Well, actually, no, yeah, right in here. That's where the volume came in kind of late back there, but it's gonna have to come up first. Have to get above this value area high for me to even consider it, and that hasn't happened. I said I wanted to make sure on AVAX that the volume was, I mean, not the volume, because I know the volume is not here, but that the move was legit. And obviously it's not. Now, AVAX, I am going to continue to hold on to it. This is the only one that I actually bought and I feel comfortable with. I don't feel comfortable going into a position on DOT just yet, or on PayPay, but I will take my chances on this one. So I am still holding onto this, and then the last one was PayPay, which it's not there yet. Let me delete this. PayPay could still come down into here. It was trying to do something the other day, but I mean, you can wait for it to break above with some volume above this trend line right here. Otherwise, but I was thinking that PayPay could still come down some. It is trying to bottom. Or I mean, either it's stronger selling pressure, or it's trying to flip. From what I could tell, it's trying to flip, but I need more conviction. So some volume would be nice. It's pretty much the same thing for all of them. When you get down to here, they're all they're all extended to a point where you would look for them to come up, but nothing has changed there. Like through here, start to flip a bit in there, still like this, hasn't flipped or anything like that.
Same, same. Even with algo, which is surprising, um, even with this pop right here, would at least seen some change right here, and that didn't happen. So that's kind of weird. Hmm. The Coin King said he loves himself some algo. Uh, Algo's had it rough. Just looking at gold. Let me just change some things in here. I'm facing the resistance of the lows, trying to come back up. Um, to be expected. Gold is just still holding sideways in here. Talked about the initial resistance coming into here, and then got this breakdown below. This struggling trend here, this counter trend price action here, only to be met with resistance, but just still hanging on to the mean basically. You look down here, it's just holding on through here, just going sideways. The longer it does that, the more likely it is to pop back up to the upside. I didn't really find anything disturbing about it. And then you'll see it right here as well, how it's just holding on right there. Same thing from below. Um, and take a look at QTD. Uh, yeah, just no follow through period whatsoever through here. So it's really boring. But the longer it stays in here, it seems more likely to me that it would just pop to the upside or something like that. This is a 4 hour time frame. Same thing for silver right now. Targets would still be the same for me, unless they wanted to hold in here again. I'd still be looking for price action. If it rolls over based on that, for it to come down here, and I would look to take an entry on something like that. For silver, copper, rejected again here from this trend line, still below the ascending broadening formation in here. So I'm still leaning towards something like this, coming back down here towards the channel low, But I mean, I can't. I mean, right now it's holding up, so maybe it's something that doesn't happen. It looks like a little head and shoulders right here as well, but this is something that tends to be a continuation pattern here. And then platinum. This is one that I did want to get in, and I said I wasn't going to do it unless it came down to this line right here. That's what I said. Uh, it was still early on to be able to take the entry on it. I just preferred it from here because I don't know what this is right here. So it's a bullish pattern formation, but you can see it's chiseling at the top side of the resistance. So maybe it does happen. You can look for an entry on this. Might have to go back to this trend line right here. But that doesn't give me confidence at all. So it's worth waiting on, I would say. Or it goes on without you. It's not a shabby one. And 22 minutes left on that 4-hour candle close. Hopefully the little bit of bullish divvy in here will hold it up. Hopefully that will. General market, coming back in from the holiday yesterday, probably got a lot of false data. um, today. Let's see how it goes today, especially after last night's speech. But I was just taking a look back over here at SPY. I am seeing that, we were talking about just talking about it in here, how SPY was at the resistance in here, also bandwidth one here, where you can see quite a few times it either held it down. If it wasn't this, and it was up here at the VWAP or something like that. But um, it did. It's very, very close. It was very, very close to the ceiling in here as well. So this has been a ceiling for it ever since that high was put in here. And this is the high for it right here. Ever since that all-time high was put in right here. This has been the ceiling for price action as it was rolling over. So I mean, it could only put in some bearish divergence, in my opinion. I did like the fact of the potential inverse head and shoulder in here. It's a wait and see. And this has historically been the floor for it here. As you can see, just going back through, like it's held every low through here, with the exception of this one right here, where it actually tapped back into that channel line there, but it has marked the floor for it every time. Then I just added this one. This one's never been tapped. And it's trying to come up in here pretty decent. It's pretty decent after this. It's trying to come up. So I like that. I like that for it. Haven't really done much on Qs, but that's looking decent. Down. Yeah. There's nothing else for me to really cover in here. I just like to look at that SPY. That's it. This is basically the same. We looked at this stuff in here on, oh, I can't move it right now. We looked at this stuff in here on Monday, yesterday, before I was getting out of here. So come on, Biddy. Hopefully we don't stay here and fight these lows for too long. If we do stay here and fight these lows for much longer, I mean, it's chop fist. I normally wouldn't look at like a wick, just a wick alone.
I am taking into account these lows over here though, but I normally wouldn't. This is much better. Golden pocket. It would mess everything up, and I wouldn't be looking for no big move because it would definitely mess everything up if price did do something like that. Golden pocket tap, and most certainly if price came down here to the 786, it's going to come lower because it's going to take the liquidity. It's going to be more focused on liquidity. It's not going to care about your psychological level, fib level down here. You had a better chance right here of making some money off of a long at this golden pocket than you do from here. Like you'll likely come back down here and sweep all of this, all of that. This at least you can count on some prior highs to give you some cushioning. You don't have any cushioning below there. That's why this area right here is so crucial to hold. Because normally, like I said, I would not. I don't draw lines on wicks per se. I think that we're projecting like a standard deviation 1 as well. Everything just happens to line up. Can you see that gap in here from oh yeah, you can't see it. You can still see it over here. Just wanted to make sure it was a decent gap. There's a gap in the upside here too, if anybody didn't know. It's on the 15-minute time frame, so it's not one of those visible gaps like you can see like right in here on this time frame, but you can't see it on the 15-minute. They're more relevant when you can see them across multiple time frames. But yeah, lose this, then the highs in here, where that is. Let's see what it is over here. Yeah, that puts that in between. Unless you did it like this, and then you'd be looking at a 786. It's no chance that we go up today. Sand. I'm gonna have to say Sand because I'm gonna mess the name up if I try to pronounce the entire thing. Might be right, Sand though. We're back above that previous day low, but yeah, it's a bad start.
It is a bad start. You just really gotta hold. This is the line in the sand for support, though. Absolutely. I mean, beyond here, like you can get a bounce. That's what I was just saying. Like beyond here, you can get a bounce. You won't do all of this. From here, there's still a chance that we can go up higher. Yeah, definitely from here, there's still a chance that we can go up higher. Below here, no, you'll get a bounce, but it'll be a lower high and just continuation back down. But there's still a chance as long as we hold right here to get back above previous day high. Because in here, there's still a chance for a five wave. There's still a chance in here for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave right here. There's still a chance. Below here, chances are over because you come back into what I'm putting in here as wave one. So below here, below this trend line right here, yeah, you won't. You can get a dead cat bounce though. This is the line in the sand right here. As we are still, it's not that bad. It really isn't that bad right here. It's really not that bad. You're ascending momentum through here. You know, below here, you lose it. You lose it. So, yeah, still a chance. Despite what things look like on the surface, um, despite seeing, this candle look like this, we've seen that before and we've still pushed up above. Uh, it's possible. But it is the end of the road. It's definitely the end of the road. We had shice volume through here, below average volume on the push up. Obviously, that was clear, but it was still a move that I was looking for here on the chart for a continuation up, and it did give. It just gave over a time period where people just weren't here for it, and volume was trash. Now, some good volume on that move down right there with that candle. Mm. And like I said, it could be that, this ugly head and shoulder situation in here could be that this ugly head and shoulder situation, just a back test of the neckline again. As the neckline is ascending and drop back down. Take all of that. Which I don't care. If it rolls over, it rolls over. I shorted this. I shorted this. So I'm in the short right now. I don't care. It means it continues down and I'll be happy making profits off of my short position. I've already TP'd one time off of my short, and then that'll be the rest of it right here. So I don't care. Roll over, pump up. Anything would definitely be better. Saying I agree. Anything could definitely be better than staying in the sideways range that we're in. Um, I mean, it can only go on for so long. I would love to see the end of the pain. I was talking about this in here. Um, but for one, we have not invalidated. Oh, sorry, for one, we haven't validated the this bear flag. We haven't. We haven't closed below it. We haven't. Take away this volume. We haven't validated this. We're still holding this. And I don't have to, you can, if you just honestly draw the trend line point to point with the magnet, like that's the true trend line on the line chart. And you can see that we don't have closures below it. We've wicked below it, but we don't have closures below it. I can see that little piece of blue right there, little piece, like you got to squint to see it. But we haven't validated this just yet. Right now, we got this, and this could simply just be a back test of this for the continuation down to actually validate this here. I know on the weekly we don't have a counter trend on the weekly. If you look at it like this, it looks like it. This is the only one because you actually dropped down, came up, dropped down, came up. That's the only one. Over here, you don't have that. Right now, it's just like this. It's like this. So there is no, you don't have this structure through here. I was comparing it over here. Like, as far as the drop goes, you can see how much faster each one of these drops where here were as opposed to over here. So maybe this one is, maybe we are just simply gonna put in some sort of a wedgie structure to finish off like we did right here. Because even right here, some people, I mean, when you look at it like this, yeah, you'll think it's a bear flag. It's not a bear flag. When you take that away, you never had another rise above. Like you never got one. This is just one whole move to the upside. Unlike this right here, that is a bear flag. That is a bear flag. We could be putting in an ending, and it doesn't take us as long in time going in this direction, but we've definitely matched it to the downside, despite trying to say like in terms of down, like that length down. We're beyond that here. As good as I can get it. Yeah, we're beyond that over here. Just not, you know, this part hasn't happened. The extending out hasn't happened. And that may not have to be a thing. I don't care. It may not have to be a thing. I understand all of this 75. Yeah, it may not have to be a thing where we take all that time over here. But I don't know. Maybe we just put in a triangle and call it a day. Maybe that's it. Maybe we're waiting to do this part right here. And that's it. That's what we did right here. And there's your, I don't know, the fractal. Just like that. But we had two aggressive drops. We didn't have an aggressive drop over here. So we might not have to go that far to finish this out. I hope not, anyway. I just would like to be out of this, done with it. There are other things that make sense in here. The things that do make sense. This is, we swept over that. That's fine. Um, uh, the things that do make sense though, is holding the prior highs. That stuff makes sense. I think this one probably do better right here off of this right here. But holding the prior highs, that makes sense. Like everything doesn't have to match 100. This would have been the initial attempt to hold, would have been that. That was the initial attempt we made to hold right here, like we're doing right now. That was the initial attempt to hold right there. And the wicks down here is simply this one right here. That's just this. That's what the wick is. It's a Binance chart. It doesn't go back as far for me to just do that all over again. But yeah, it's different now. I don't think we ever tried to hold lows. But maybe we sweep. Maybe we wedge it out. Ooh, I don't know. Good support though where we're at. That's why we're not going anywhere. We're already down here at, you know, like our floor. I would say this is our floor. If I get off of Binance, it is still our historical floor. We did sweep up below it right here, slightly right there, but it's still a historical floor. I know we've broken it, which is why I put reclaim in here. It's still a historical floor. So we don't have to do this. There's confluence for it. But this is a historical floor. 44.42. We usually come back up 50. At the end of the day, that's all this is really saying is we generally flip back up 50. This is the time that we spend below 50 right here. That's the time we spend below 50. Uh, Hold on, let me see something. So this must have dropped below it earlier at some point. Do here. The time we spent above it. It's basically just turning back up 50 though. You can see right there. You turn back up 50 right there. You turn back up your 50 right here. You turn back up your 50. Can tell you where you turn back up 50 at. Above 78. We turn back up 50 above 78. We've never turned above it and not held it. So if we are going higher, let me turn that off. Turn that off. If we are going up there, then we have to turn back up right here. That green line right there, 78. This is actually the point where we closed above it. That's a 28. We closed above it right there. Hold on, love. Closed above right there. Closed above it right here. Oh, did I move that? The first. The first. Why didn't this show up? I mean, it's a monthly chart, girl. It's a monthly chart. And we did it twice over here. And that's us crossing back above 50. Right there. Right here. And cross back up 50 right there. And right here. So when we flipping around right now, we're back above 78, 480. We'll just round that number up if you like to. When we get back above that right there, we're gone. We're gone. We've never turned up and turned back down. So we get above that, we're good to go, which is essentially getting above that mother bar on the weekly time frame. That's it. And if we hold this floor right here, and actually we don't have to hold the floor. We can always break below it. But at the end of the day, we need to be back above the 50. That's always put us in the trend, getting back above the 50, which is just this same candle right here, this range that we've been in, this candle right here, that candle right there. So this might be a base. It's either a base drop or a base rally. We don't know. We get above here though, we can go. Which they're going to be different because this is a dollar above that candle, that mother bar right there. That's our path to freedom. At the moment, it is our path to freedom. But it's 8:11. I really appreciate you for being here today. Yeah, yeah, dumping. Yeah, yeah, just back to where we were before. I wouldn't really call it a dump, but it is struggling. It's basically just back to where it was before. Double bottom could be the thing. So still holding. It's only garbage if we're below here. Below here, that means that we're invalidating all hope. But it's a tweezer bottom. With that said, I got to get out of here. I really appreciate you for being here. Thank you, Y Crypto YT. Thank you, Sam, for showing up. Thank you to everybody else who showed up today as well. Thank you for your input. It's always valuable to me. I don't feel any kind of way about anybody else's opinion. It's always helpful to have somebody else to say something else, and don't want to be in your own head. So I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll start to feel a little bit better. I'm going to get a little bit of rest here. Love you. Bye.